Why, hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome back. We are here once again, only for the second time if this episode goes out, for Phyrexia All Will Be One. I've actually played a fair amount of this format. A lot of it has been off the air, playing co-op with Seth, doing the drafts, and honestly, he and I both have had the experience of really getting pummeled by ourselves and doing pretty well when we draft together. I don't know if that's really saying anything about our cohesive bond, our camaraderie, our brotherhood that we share. I think it's more because if you know anything about us when we draft together, our win rate, I think, if anything, goes down. It's more just that when we've gotten together, we've found the open lane, which has very consistently been white-black, which is where I'm at today. So I've got a fairly low to the ground because that's what you have to do, white-black deck. The stars of the show. We've got 2 Planar Disruptions, which is the 2-mana Arrest. We have 2 Vivisection Evangelists. This is 3 white-black for a 4/4 Vigilance, and when you have the enemy corrupted, you get to destroy a creature or a planeswalker they control. We also have an Indoctrination Attendant that could potentially bounce the Evangelist and give us another bite at that apple. We have tons and tons of 2-drops, which is good. That's what you need. We've got Complete Devotion, Duelist of Deep Faith, Incisor Glider, Infested Fleshcutter, Jawbone Duelist, Skrelv's Hive as our only rare, which is a good one. This is the 2-mana enchantment that gets you a 1/1 might every turn. And then when you have them corrupted, creatures you control with Toxic have a lifelink. Blight Belly Rat, Drowning Ichor. A couple offer immortalities just to fill things out. And also because we have a Menace creature in Sheldred's Headcleaver plus our 4/4, so I figured that combat trick would be good. And more removal is not a bad thing. So let's see how we do. Opponent goes first. You never like to see it. This hand looks okay though. We have a turn 2 Jawbone Duelist, the 1/1 Double Strike Toxic one. Opponent goes Mountain Pass. We go Plains Pass. All is well so far. Okay, they also went Mountain Pass again. So we'll play our Jawbone Duelist. Might well get Hex Gold Slashed. It did not, so makes me think they don't have it. They play a Blade Graft Aspirant. This is the 2/3 Menace that makes equipment cost less. That's pretty good news for us because we can now Planar Disruption it. We get to attack with our Double Striker. Do 2 damage and 2 poison. And now they're 2/3 of the way to being corrupted. Ooh. They go Serum Core Chimera. So they're 3 color. No fixing so far, but a 4-mana 2/4 flyer. When you cast a non-creature spell, they get an oil counter. You remove 3 oil counters to draw a card, then discard. If you can't discard, if you do, it does 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker. I mean, that's a ways away from happening, but it's not a bad card for them, certainly. What are we supposed to do here? Are we supposed to... I don't know why I'm questioning this, because we have an Infested Fleshcutter, and that's all we can literally play. We have not drawn any lands. This is something Seth has talked about a lot recently. It feels, I don't know, maybe this is, selection bias, but a lot of games recently seem to be coming down to lands and land drops. Maybe that is just a symptom of the format, though, given that it's so fast, it's so much about being on board, and there's not a lot of good catch-up mechanics. Maybe that is just making things difficult. Well, opponent played a Mirren Bardiche, so they got an oil counter, and they also got a 4/3, and we, again, did not draw land. In fact, we drew, I think, our only remaining 5-drop. So all we can do now is equip the Jawbone Duelist and attack. We get a Might. They could block us, but they would lose their creature for free. And they do not block. Instead, they take 6 damage, and they are now corrupted at 4 poison. If we draw a swamp especially, things are going to get very good for us, but oof. But they cast a Magmatic Sprinter, which puts 2 oil counters on their Serum Core, which they are now removing. And if they discard a non-creature, they get to kill our Jawbone Duelist, which will be pretty close to wrapping up the game, I think, in their favor. Pretty frustrating going against a red-white-blue deck with no fixing, where they just kind of perfectly hit the mana they need. But, yeah, that's how it works. They did indeed discard a Phyrexian Atlas. Okay, so they discarded the Atlas and played a Prism, so there's the fixing. And now we're getting slammed. We'll see what our next draw is, but we are left right now with 3 Plains, a Might, and a Flesh Cutter. And they have a ridiculous board. And offer Immortality. Yep, alright. That will be game for us. Just the old classic. Never drew a land past the 3 we had in our opening hand. Very unfortunate. These things do happen. Frequently, they happen. Let's see if we can avoid the same disaster going into game number 2. Yeah, we've got land, 3 Plains and a Swamp. For cards, we have an Incisor Glider, a Complete Devotion, and a Gulping Scrap Trap. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we're supposed to mulligan this. This doesn't really do a whole lot. The 1/3 flyer is nice for stopping anything that they have going on. Complete Devotion does not do a whole lot. Gulping Scrap Trap is a great late draw, but doesn't do anything with this opening hand. Yeah, I think we're supposed to keep... The Incisor Glider is the thing that makes this acceptable, I think. They play Evolving Adaptive. Yeah. So this is the 1/1 that grows every time they play something with bigger power and toughness. They are blue-green so far. We're in one of the old classic, we need to win this game or quit forever situations. Because blue-green is by far the worst archetype in the format. But who knows, maybe they got hooked up. If their deck is all Evolving Adaptives, then they're going to slam us pretty hard. I guess if it were literally all Evolving Adaptives, it would do literally nothing. Okay, opponent goes Gitaxian Raptor. The 1/4 that can use oil counters to change its power toughness, that kind of thing. Okay, so at this point we could play a Bone Picker Sturge, or we could hold up and offer Immortality, which we just drew, for the Gitaxian Raptor, which I think is the right call. Opponent attacks with the Gitaxian Raptor. Let's go to blocks. We will block with our Incisor Glider. Presumably they're going to use oil counters. No, they're doing Titanic Growth. Okay, this is fabulous for us, because now we get to offer Immortality, our Incisor Glider, which gives it Death Touch and Indestructible. The only way this really gets punished is... Oh, they have a Serum Snare. So it bounces our creature back to our hand and they proliferate. And we get hit for 5. So at the end of the day, they used a lot of cards to make that happen. And didn't get a lot out of it, to be honest. So what do we do now? I think it's a pretty easy Incisor Glider. Replay it. And then Drown in Ichor, their Evolving Adaptive. So it's a 3/3 at this point. It's kind of getting out of control. Another Gitaxian Raptor. It's a good card. And they have really played a lot of good cards. I mean, I like everything they've played so far. Okay, this turn, we're just supposed to Gulping Scrap Trap just to put a 4/4 into play. Boy, I hate that, because we're not proliferating. But I don't think we should be precious about it either, and we shouldn't be sitting back waiting to use our mana. We should just be doing it every turn. I mean, if we wind up winning this game, it really is a testament to how bad the blue-green archetype is, because they've played very high-quality blue-green cards, and we've kind of played nonsense so far. A 1/3 flyer and a 4/4 that did nothing. Just a 4/4 for 5 mana. So if this beats blue-green, I mean, that's a bit damning, has to be said. They did nothing on their turn. What does that mean? Could mean they have the counter spell. Could mean they have a combat trick. So I think combat trick seems likely. So I'm going to attack with my Gulping Scrap Trap, the 4/4, and see what they do. If they have nothing, then we're either going to get 4 damage in. Oh, okay, they're taking damage. Beautiful. So now we get to go for a Bone Picker Scourge. It's a 2/2 flyer. If they're corrupted, it gets Death Touch and Lifelink, but we are very far from that. And we could go Ambulatory Edifice as well, but just no real point. This is the 3-mana 3/2. We can pay 2 life to give target creature -1/-1. I mean, putting another 2/2 on the board right now really doesn't do anything. Okay, now they're attacking with their Gitaxian Raptor. Are we supposed to block here? I guess so. Block with our Incisor Glider. Okay, they're using oil to pump it up. So now it's a 3/2. So now we get to complete Devotion and eat their Raptor. Yep, that happens. And they pass. Drew our Vivisection Evangelist. We have all these payoffs right now for having them corrupted, and no corruption is happening. They didn't cast anything on their turn. They still haven't cast anything. They didn't save their creature, which makes me think they don't have a combat trick. They just have double green spells in their hand, because they're on a single green right now. I guess that could be the case. So at this point, I guess do we attack with everything? If we attack with our 1/3 flyer, they will block probably... They'll definitely block with a Gitaxian Raptor. And to kill either of our creatures, they'll have to turn it into killable range. That's not true. The Bone Picker Scourge, they don't have to do that. So we'll hold back the Bone Picker. Attack with a 4/4 and a 1/3 flyer. If they wind up going for the block on our Incisor Glider with their Raptor, they don't. They just take 5 damage. Okay, that's beautiful. You know, as loath as I am to say it, I think maybe at this point we're supposed to play Vivisection Evangelist. They have not had the counterspell so far, and a 4/4 Vigilance is decent. If they do counter it, they just drew it. Okay, so they don't. So that was the correct play, I believe. We're just beating our opponent with 5 mana 4/4s. They go Unnatural Restoration, getting back a Gitaxian Raptor. They have 2 Gitaxian Raptors. It's hard to explain how little I care. Well, but what this means is our 4/4s will trade with their Gitaxian Raptors, right? But, I mean, what else are we supposed to do? We should have... I guess we should have Ambulatory Edificed. I'm not sure. We'll just attack with 1 Scrap Trap, which will, in all likelihood, trade for their thing. They just took it. Okay, well, that's fabulous. They go for Unctus's Retrofitter. It's a 2/3 Toxic 1 that turns an artifact they control into a 4/4, which they don't have, so it's literally just a 2/3 Toxic 1. Okay, so at this point, what are we supposed to do? We could Ambulatory Edifice, pay the 2 life, and make their Gitaxian Raptors 0/3s. I think that's the play. It's almost certainly the play. Oh, we can only do it to one of them. Well, we'll attack with our 4/4s. Should we attack with our 2/2s? Yeah, I'm going to just attack with everything. Blocking our 2/2 flyer and our 4/4, the Evangelist. And using the Unctuses to block the 4/4, the Gulping Scrap Trap. Okay. Rearranging a little bit. Rearranging quite a bit. 2 blockers. Blocking the Scrap Trap and the Bone Picker Scourge. So we knocked them down to 2, and we only lost 1 creature and they lost 2. Well, unless they've got something wild up their sleeve, this should be game. They do not. They surrender. Okay. Good. Well, as I said, blue-green is, by all accounts, the absolute worst archetype, and I think that was a fine example of why that's the case. They played plenty of good cards from those two colors. We played... I mean, the cards were good, but we didn't hit any of our synergies. Almost every single card that we played that game was a corrupted payoff, and we didn't put a single poison counter on them, and we just beat them with 5-mana 4/4s. So, pretty sad day for the opponent. Pretty happy day for us. We're 1-1. Opponent goes first again. Why not? But we got some good stuff. We got 3 mana. We got a Planar Disruption. Eventually, we've got a Sheoldred's Head Cleaver and a Scrap Trap. I think this is fine. Haven't really had a good opening hand yet. But goes Dark Slick Shores first. So blue-black. It's another brilliant deduction by me. They go for a Pestilent Siphoner. I believe we're supposed to not be precious about this, and we're just supposed to Planar Disruption it. They spent 2 mana and played a creature. We spent 2 mana and neutralized that creature. And we avoid taking a bunch of poison damage. So now they play Bone Picker Scourge, which I'm much happier to see. We drew an Ambulatory Edifice. Are we supposed to play that this turn? I think they're going to have more 1 toughness creatures in the future, so I don't think so. I think we're supposed to play a Fair Basilica. That's a tough call. I think that there's a school of thought that I'm just supposed to preserve my life total, but not totally clear what the right play was, at least to me. So, opponent hits us for 2 with a Scourge, and now they're tinking, giving it a tink. Another Scourge. Drew an Evangelist. Again, so far we have not been anywhere close to putting poison on people, but a Sheoldred's Head Cleaver might help. Plus the 2/4 body shuts down their advance quite handily. They're little 2/2s. They do get to hit us, because they are flyers, but it all depends on what their follow-up is. It's 14/20, a Jataxian Raptor. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Drew a land. So I think we're supposed to attack with the Head Cleaver. They're all flyers right now. They're just taking the damage. So we could give it +2/+2. Draw a card. No, I think we're supposed to just let that damage happen. And then we're supposed to Scrap Trap, play a 4/4, get them to Corrupted with the Proliferate trigger. And then next turn we have a Vivisection Evangelist to kill one of their things. It's 14/18. They can do a lot of damage. They've got currently 5 natural power on the board flyer, but they also can pump the Jataxian Raptor up to a 4, so they've got 3 extra damage hanging around. It's definitely scary. They're just swinging right now, and they are using oil counters. Yep, so we're just racing, it looks like. That puts us down to 6. And then they play a rare, Archfiend of the Dross. 4 mana, 6/6 flyer, has 4 oil counters. Remove an oil counter each turn, and then if it has none, they lose the game. Well, we can kill that. We're not dead, because we can go Vivisection Evangelist, kill the Archfiend, all-out attack them. They go to 12 and 5 poison. It's 6/12. They can hit us for 5 in the air this turn. If they all-out attack and don't have another play, we can hit them back for 4, 8, 10. We can lethal them. We can lethal them if they all-out attack, which they're doing. So they have to do that. They have to not remove any of our creatures. They have to not play another creature, because they did. They played a Malcator's Watcher. But we win, because we can go Ambulatory Edifice. Oh, but we can't pay the 2 life. Fuck! So now they have to not block with the Malcator's Watcher. Which, why would you not block here? It would just be for the rub-ins to not block. So we got him down to 4. So the Ambulatory Edifice, the pay 2 life trigger made it so that we couldn't actually win. Dang it. We were so close to getting that. Ugh. Close game. Alright, well, once again we find ourselves on the brink of elimination. 1 win, 2 losses. What's gonna happen next? These opening hands, we have a plethora, an absolute bounty of 2-drops, but we cannot buy one in our opening hand. Instead, we have both of our Vivisection Evangelists, the 5-drops, Sheoldred's Headcleaver, the only 4-drop, and a Bonepicker's Scourge, a 3-drop. So, I mean, this is a definite mulligan. Oh, it should go without saying that we, of course, are not going first in this game. Let's keep this. So what are the odds? This is match 4? Yes. And we've gone second every single time. So what's 1 in 2 to the 4th? 16? 1 in 16 chance of this happening? Love it. Love it. It's kind of a Cold Stone Creamery situation. I like it. I do love it. And I must have it. Alright, well, opponent went Forest. The only thing we can hope for is that they play an Island next. They play a Mountain. So instead of the worst color combo, the best color combo. Haven't played anything yet though, so our Duelist of Deep Faith looks nice. The 2/2 Toxic 1, first strike on our turn. Don't hate that. Best thing that could happen this turn is to play a creature with 1 toughness that we could Ambulatory Edifice. They don't play anything interesting, so now we get to just attack them. Yeah, they seem to have no plays. So are we supposed to Ambulatory Edifice? Yeah, you know what? I'm tired of leaving this sitting on the sideline, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the turn, use the mana, play a 3-mana 3/2. That is one of the modes of this card. Opponent is going for Thirsting Roots, looking for a basic land. Okay, so we have a chance here. Their draw is not developing very nicely at all. So we get to attack with all our stuff. They're on 2 poison. They're on 13 life. We have an Indoctrination Attendant. Again, I believe we're just supposed to play it without getting the value. Just decline this. It's just a 4-mana 3/4 Toxic 1. God, is it annoying, but I think this is how we're going to win. They play a Tyrannax Atrocity. This is the 5-mana 4/4 Haste Toxic 3. And I believe we just attack with our Toxic boys. Just attack with everybody, because they're going to block one of our bigger guys, so we can complete Devotion it. Yep, that's what they do. Oh, they're thinking better of it. What if they block the Ambulatory Edifice? They don't. Okay, so that would have displayed a high amount of skill to block the Ambulatory Edifice. But they don't, so they're unskilled. They are weak and they are bad, just like me. And they're at 7 life and 3 poison. They are corrupted, friends, which means at last a Vivisection Evangelist sitting in our hands will actually get to do what it's supposed to do. Holy freaking moly. And a Thrill of Possibility later, searching for an answer. They don't find it and they surrender. Okay, beautiful. 2 and 2. I think we're winning. I will be happy. I will be pretty happy if we get one more win. If we don't, I'll still be happy, because that's just how I am. See you in the next game. We go first? What? What do these words mean? We have a Jawbone Duelist and a Skrelv's Hive in the open hand, plus Vivisection Evangelist. Very intriguing. Are we supposed to Jawbone Duelist first? I'm sure that's correct. Put the pressure on early with Jawbone Duelist, then Skrelv's Hive can start getting us lifelink pressure very quickly. We go first, and we actually have a D's hand. What would elevate this hand a bit is some removal, for sure. The opponent's still thinking about what they want to do. Come on, baby. One time. Just one time. They do mulligan. Very good. So we go plains and pass. And then they go plains and pass. Great. We go jawbone and pass. We would really love for them to not have a removal spell. They go plains and Sizer Glider. Well, that's interesting. So we can attack. Yeah, I think we're supposed to attack here. No, we're not. No attacks. I almost attacked and gave up my Duelist for no reason. God help me, I did. I really did. Instead, we played a Skrelv's Hive. We're going to start making some mites. I just might win this game. Speaking of mites, they play Charge of the Mites, killing our Jawbone Duelist and hitting us for 1. We get a creature, we drew a Planar Disruption. Now, the question is, are we supposed to Planar Disruption their creature this turn? I don't think so. I think we're supposed to Indoctrination Attendant, not bounce anything. And then next turn, we've got some options. Opponent is mono white so far. And I'm betting they're missing a color, because I can't imagine mono white being that good. They play Gold Warden's Helm. This is a 4 mirrored in equipment. It gives +0/+1, so they get a 2/3 right now. It's fine. We're at 17, they're at 20. We get another might. I think we're supposed to Disruption their Rebel. And then we get to smack them for 4 damage and 2 poison counters. Love that. Love that for us. And now we're 1 poison counter away from unlocking Skrelv's Hive and Vivisection Evangelist. But it's still mono white. And they're spending some mana re-equipping. That's good. And then putting a Zealot's Conviction, +1/+1. And then casting Resistance Reunited, giving +2/+2 on the same creature. So they just spent their whole hand to bring us to 11, which is fairly unimpressive, because now we get to hit them down to 11. 5 poison. Are we supposed to use the Vivisection Evangelist to kill their Incisor Glider this turn? I don't think so. I don't think so. If they have no further plays next turn, we can do that. Another plains. So they are mono white, and they surrender. Okay, I think it's hard to say. Were they mono white, and that's just a really bad archetype to be in? Or were they completely hosed on the mana they were playing? I don't know. They played their entire hand, so I think they were mono white. I don't think, monocolored decks just do not exist in this format, so that's not the way to go. Well, hey, 3 wins. Let's just end the podcast here. I'll see you next time. I'm just kidding. I'll see you in the next game. We go first. Okay, things are turning around. Lads and ladies, non-binary friends, all. We have a Duelist of Deep Faith. We have an Incisor Glider. We have an Ambulatory Edifice and an Indoctrination. This might be our best opening hand, and we get to go first, so hell yeah. I think so. Right, we played a couple lands. We played our Duelist of Deep Faith, the 2/2 toxic one, first strike on our turn. Another red-green opponent who has played a Barbed Batterfist. This is the 4 mirrored in equipment. It gives +1/-1, so they have a 3/1 creature in play right now. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to start by... Oh, cancel that. We should have ambulatory there. The first time that card has actually been good, and I just skipped right ahead to attacking. Like a fool. Luckily it doesn't cost us, because they didn't block, so now we get to take the action, pay 2 life, kill the creature. Ugh. Boy, what a bad misplay, though. They play a Forge Hammer Centurion. This is 3 mana, 3/2. Whenever another creature or artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put an oil counter on it. When it attacks, you can remove 2 oil counters and then blah 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 blah. Who cares? What are we supposed to do here? Do we drown an Ichor, or do we offer immortality? Or do we ambulatory again and make it a 2/1, which would kill any of our creatures? I mean, that's not good, right? I mean, clearly that's not good. Drown an Ichor gets the most damage through. Offer immortality. Yeah, we're just supposed to drown an Ichor. So what this does is it kills their creature, puts another poison counter on them, and it gets them corrupted. So now all of our corrupted stuff is turned on. Ooh, baby. Just instantly punished. They play Evolve Spinoderm. I think we're going to get him, though, because we have this Offer Immortality. Go to blockers. They block like a fool. We get to Offer Immortality, kill their rare. Yeah, F you, buddy. Absolutely not. And then we still have Incisor Glider. Oh my goodness gracious. Now you have a Chimney Rabble? That's what you're offering? Get absolutely bent. So what do we do here? We could attack with everything, which isn't that interesting. I think more interesting is playing an Ambulatory Edifice, paying the 2 life, killing their 1/1, and then attacking with everything. And then our Incisor Glider gives us a huge boost to our team. They lose all their creatures. They're at 5. Boy, oh boy. And they surrender. Whoa, let's go! This is how we do things. This format is so fast. Of course, after I get done editing, this will be shorter, but I've been playing for 37 minutes, and I've played so many games so far. We're 4-2. Can we get that 5th win? Can we actually get into the positives? Please. But let us recognize already performing above what we thought would happen. So, got to be happy with that. But we'd also like more. But we have to be humble. But we also love everything that we're doing, and we want more, and we could always use some more. But, again, humble. Okay, we go first again. Love it. We have a Jawbone Duelist, Ambulatory Edifice, and a Vivisection Evangelist. It all seems good to me. Play our Fair Basilica. Opponent is also on white. Get to Jawbone Duelist. Hope they play a 1 toughness creature. A Justiciar would be great. They play a Duelist of Deep Faith. This is the 2-mana 2/2, has first strike on their turn. So I think we're supposed to Edifice, pay the 2 life, give their creature -1/-1, and then attack them. So now it's 18 life to us, 18 life to them, but they have 2 poison already. So now them attacking is kind of a little bit dicey. They don't care, though. They're going to go ahead and attack. I assume they have some kind of blocker they're going to play. Because why else would you go for that? Maybe they have a Charge of the Mites? They have a Contagious Vorak. I mean, one of the best commons in the set. The 3-mana 3/3 searched up a land for them. That's great. We're continuing to draw some land. So this turn we get to do nothing, and we'll put a stop on their turn so we can draw a card with our Fair Basilica. I'm not about to sit here and do nothing for the next 2 or 3 turns. Lots of things we could draw. We could draw the Divination. They are attacking with Duelist of Deep Faith. We just have to take that, unfortunately, given the creatures we have. So now it's 14-18. We both have 2 poison counters. They play a Blade of the Ambassador. This is the 2-mana 3/1 with an oil counter. You can pay 1 to remove the oil counter. It gets indestructible until end of turn. Very good. Let's go ahead and activate our Fair Basilica. Draw a card. We get another Plains. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. We draw nothing but land so far. So let's see. Let's again do the math here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cards so far that we have had in our opening hand, and 3 of them are non-lands, and all of them were in our opening hand. I love that. I freaking love it. Enough whinging, though. We drew a Sheoldred's Head Cleavers, the 2/4 Menace with Toxic 2. We're not going to attack. We really have to stay back here. Hope that our 2/4 is enough to hold back this tide of power that our opponent is putting on the board. Opponent is attacking with the Duelist of Deep Faith. So that to me says they have the 2-mana trick, which is going to give +2/+2 to this creature. So I think we're supposed to double block with our Edifice and our Head Cleaver. And then if they have it, they have it, and if they don't, they don't. They do have it. Yep. So things are looking pretty bleak. Another Duelist of Deep Faith. They've not played a bad card yet. We could play our 4/4 Evangelist. We don't have an option. Like, that is just what we have to do at this point. It is kind of interesting. I think the biggest thing I've learned from this particular draft and the games that we've played is that a 4/4 creature is just kind of a house. It really just kind of locks down everything that your opponents want to do. That being said, our opponent played a Maze Skull Bomb, so they're giving +2/+2 and Trample, or +3/+3 and Trample, sorry, to one of their duelists, and now they have a Slaughter Singer. I mean, their deck is incredible. We're going to go ahead and surrender here. We do not have something that will get us out of this jam. We do not have a rare that we are drawing towards. Wow, incredible deck from our opponent in the final round. You know what? Again, overall, gotta be pretty happy with it. The only deck that I've really experienced any kind of success with in this format is the white-black deck, which is, comes down to sample size. There's lots of ways to win, clearly. We just got beat by lots of decks that were not white-black, so you can do things that are successful that are not that. But yeah, I will eventually, Seth and I will talk about this format and probably just go on a big, long gripe session about how much we don't like it. It's not to our tastes, our particular tastes, and just give an overall picture. That draft, however, was pretty solid, and I had fun winning the games, and I did not have fun losing the games. Incredible, incisive commentary as always, Kenny. Yes, thank you, Kenny. Well done. Very good. I wish you a good night, pleasant dreams, a good sleep, a good morning, a good afternoon, and a good evening, and another good sleep after that. Good day.